Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we've got something really exciting lined up for you. If you've been following the news about the South China Sea and the rising tensions in Asia, then you already know how important naval power has become. But instead of looking at these stories from a distance, we're diving deep into two ships that represent not just steel and firepower, but also national pride and strategy. On one side, we have the Philippines' pride, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, PS-15, a symbol of the country's determination to guard its waters and stand tall despite challenges. And on the other side, we've got China's mighty Tian Feng, a warship that shows just how far the Chinese Navy has come in becoming one of the most powerful forces in the world. In this video, we're not just going to throw numbers and stats at you. No, we're going to break it all down from history to capabilities and finally compare them head to head. So whether you're a defense enthusiast, someone following regional geopolitics, or just curious about how these two ships stack up, stick around because this is going to be a thrilling ride. Now let's talk about the pride of the Philippine Navy, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, PS-15. If you've ever wondered what ship stands as a frontline guardian for the Philippines in the contested waters of the West Philippine Sea, this is it. The BRP Gregorio del Pilar is actually a former U.S. Coast Guard Hamilton-class cutter, transferred to the Philippines under the Excess Defense Articles program back in 2011. Once it arrived, it quickly became the largest combat ship in the Philippine Navy at that time, instantly raising the country's maritime presence. This ship carries the name of General Gregorio del Pilar, one of the youngest and bravest Filipino generals in the revolution against Spain and later the Americans. So the name itself carries deep patriotic symbolism. It's not just a warship, it's a floating tribute to heroism and sacrifice. Now let's get into what this ship can do. The BRP Gregorio del Pilar displaces about 3,250 tons and stretches 115 meters long. She's powered by 2 diesel engines and 2 gas turbines, giving her a top speed of around 28 knots. Not the fastest warship in the region, but fast enough to patrol wide areas and respond when needed. She has an endurance of 14,000 nautical miles at 15 knots, which means she can stay at sea for long stretches. A very important feature for a country like the Philippines with vast waters to watch over. When it comes to crew, she carries about 167 officers and sailors, and that's important because the Philippine Navy runs lean compared to major powers. Every sailor on board plays a critical role in keeping the ship operational. Now let's talk firepower. Originally, when she came from the US, she had more weaponry, but upon transfer some of the heavier systems were removed. Currently, she's armed with a 76mm Oto Malara naval gun, a reliable and versatile weapon that can be used against ships, aircraft, and even shore targets. She also has 25mm Bushmaster chain guns and several 50 caliber machine guns for close-in defense. While this isn't the heaviest armament compared to modern destroyers, it's more than enough for patrols, sovereignty missions, and deterrence in disputed waters. The ship is also equipped with radar, communication systems, and navigation gear suitable for long-range patrols. And let's not forget, she has a flight deck and hangar that can host a helicopter, like the AW-109 or Seahawk, giving her extra eyes in the sky for surveillance and search and rescue operations. In terms of missions, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar has been very active. She's patrolled the Scarborough Shoal, she's escorted humanitarian missions, and she's been at the front lines whenever tensions flare up in the South China Sea. In fact, she even had an incident in 2018 when she ran aground near Hasa Shoal, but was later repaired and returned to service, proof of just how crucial she is that the Navy couldn't afford to lose her. For the Philippines, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar represents more than steel and weapons. She's a symbol of maritime sovereignty, a message to the world that even if the Philippines doesn't have the largest fleet, it will still defend its waters with pride. Now let's turn our eyes to the other side, the Tian Feng, a ship flying the flag of the People's Liberation Army Navy of China. When you hear the name Tian Feng, you're not just talking about a vessel, you're talking about part of China's growing naval might, a presence that has changed the balance of power across the entire Asia-Pacific region. The Tian Feng belongs to the new generation of Chinese naval ships that have been steadily entering service over the past 2 decades. While China's Navy was once considered outdated and limited to coastal defense, today it's a force capable of operating far beyond its shores, projecting power in ways that were unimaginable just 20 years ago. The Tian Feng is one of the ships designed to make that possible. This ship displaces thousands of tons, making it a heavyweight compared to many regional navies. Its design follows the philosophy of endurance, versatility, and sheer firepower. It carries advanced radar and sensor arrays that give it eyes over hundreds of kilometers, allowing it to track multiple aircraft, ships, and even incoming missiles at the same time. In modern naval warfare, information dominance is everything, and the Tian Feng was built with that in mind. When it comes to weapons, this ship packs a punch. At the heart of its arsenal are anti-ship cruise missiles, capable of striking enemy vessels from over 100 kilometers away. It also has a modern naval gun mounted on its bow, ideal for both surface engagements and coastal bombardment. And of course, no modern warship would be complete without air defense systems, and Tian Feng is equipped with missile launchers designed to shoot down incoming threats, from enemy jets to drones to missiles themselves. Close-in defense is handled by CIWS, close-in weapon systems, rapid-firing cannons designed to intercept anything that slips through the outer defenses. Imagine a wall of bullets forming around the ship, and you'll get the idea of what CIWS can do. But the story doesn't end there. The Tian Feng also carries torpedoes for anti-submarine warfare, along with sonar systems to detect underwater threats. And like the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, it has a flight deck for helicopters which can be used for patrol, anti-submarine missions, or even transporting supplies. One of the biggest strengths of the Tian Feng isn't just its weapons, but the technological ecosystem it's part of. Being a Chinese ship, it's fully integrated into a massive naval network, linked with satellites, drones, and other warships in the fleet. That means it doesn't fight alone. It fights as part of a larger system, making it much more dangerous in coordinated operations. Crew-wise, the Tian Feng carries a significantly larger complement than the Gregorio del Pilar, giving it the manpower to operate multiple advanced systems simultaneously. And with China's shipbuilding capabilities, the plan can field vessels like this in large numbers, ensuring that ships like Tian Feng are rarely isolated or outnumbered. In the South China Sea, ships like the Tian Feng are more than just tools of defense. They are tools of strategy. They project Chinese claims, enforce patrols, and send a clear message. China intends to dominate these waters. So while the Gregorio del Pilar represents determination and resilience, the Tian Feng represents expansion and dominance. It's a clash not just of ships but of philosophies, one standing its ground, the other pushing outward. So now we've looked at both ships individually, let's bring them head to head. The BRP Gregorio del Pilar, PS-15, versus the Tian Feng. And here's where things get really interesting. On one side, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar is essentially a veteran ship, not brand new, not packed with the latest technology, but reliable, seaworthy, and battle-tested in its own way. It was never designed to go toe-to-toe with a heavily armed warship like the Tian Feng, but that's not really its role. Its mission is patrol, presence, sovereignty enforcement, and representing the Philippine Navy where it matters most. On the other side, the Tian Feng is a modern powerhouse, designed for high-intensity naval combat and integrated warfare. With its array of anti-ship missiles, advanced radar, and strong air defenses, it has capabilities that clearly outclass the Gregorio del Pilar in a direct confrontation. If these two ships ever faced each other in open combat, the hard truth is that Tian Feng's advanced weapons and systems would give it the upper hand. But here's where context matters. The Gregorio del Pilar doesn't operate in isolation. The Philippines has defense agreements, particularly with the United States, which changes the dynamics of any potential conflict. While Tian Feng has more raw firepower, the presence of the Gregorio del Pilar in contested waters sends a powerful political message. The Philippines is standing its ground, even against overwhelming odds. Sometimes, symbolism is just as important as weaponry. Let's break it down even more simply. Size and displacement. Tian Feng is larger, heavier, and built for high-end warfare. Gregorio del Pilar is smaller but designed for endurance and patrols. Speed and range. Gregorio del Pilar actually has impressive range and endurance, allowing it to stay at sea for long patrols. Tian Feng has speed and power, but it's part of a fleet strategy. Weapons. Tian Feng wins this category hands down. Anti-ship missiles, air defense, CIWS, and modern guns. Gregorio del Pilar has more limited armament, suitable for lower-intensity missions. Technology. Again, Tian Feng dominates with advanced radar, electronic warfare systems, and network integration. Gregorio del Pilar has older, less sophisticated systems. Symbolism. This is where Gregorio del Pilar shines. For the Philippines, the ship is not about outgunning opponents, but about flying the flag in disputed waters, showing resilience and presence. So, who wins? If we're talking about raw naval power, it's undeniably the Tian Feng. But if we're talking about symbolism, resilience, and national pride, the BRP Gregorio del Pilar holds a different kind of victory. At the end of the day, this comparison isn't just about steel versus steel. It's about strategy, context, and what these ships represent for their nations. For China, the Tian Feng is about dominance. For the Philippines, the Gregorio del Pilar is about standing tall, even when the odds seem overwhelming. And that's what makes this matchup so fascinating. Because while one ship clearly has more weapons, the other carries something that can't be measured in missiles or guns, the will to defend no matter what.